Good morning. I got a frog in my throat.
It's not. I didn't drink enough coffee or something. What's going on? Welcome everybody. Good Apostles fast to you. May God be giving you good strength through this fast. Um, what is up? What is up? All right. 24 people in. All right. Let's get them on up. Sorry, I didn't do more streams this week. Remember, I actually got back from Martinique Monday. The most successful, largest conference yet. 175 attendees, including two hierarchs, 10 priests, 2 deacons, 1 subdeacon, 6 readers, and 6 nuns. And Sunday, Divine Hierarchical Liturgy had over 250. That was amazing. And then, shoot, I had to go. I took a little rest at the cabin. I had to have a pellet stove and fridge installed. So, spent a couple days up there. So, I didn't have TZ. How silly are you that I've proven the Holy Trinity over and over again and remain undefeated. Nobody has defeated that. So, if you're too retarded to understand logic and arguments or follow through, or you're just so morally corrupt that you can't or unwilling to understand reason and arguments, sounds like a you problem, not me. The argument is undefeated. So congratulations for making yourself look like a fool. And I appreciate that you come on and show just how retarded and dumb to the public atheism is. You are winning people over aside, so glory to God. We have some other news. Big debate. Are you guys ready? This Friday, upcoming Friday, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. We'll have a 2-on-2 debate. I think it's on Christian capturing Christianity. Jay Dyer and I will be debating the 2 Roman Catholic professors, Dr. Trent Dortry and Dr. Christopher Tomaszewski, on natural theology and the whole thing about whether there is a what's called the common core, lowest common denominator among quote unquote monotheistic religions. I don't like to use monotheism. That's a fairly recent created kind of term, an ecumenist term. And the whole kind of thing going on with Roman Catholicism and the claims from the last 2 popes that Muslims, Jews, and Christians worship the same God. So Jay Dyer and I will be debating Dr. Trent Dortry and Dr. Christopher Tomaszewski this Friday. So big one. So look forward to that. It's nice to actually have 2 professors and actual scholars in their area of expertise. They do good work, so I'll give a shout out to them. It's nice to not have to debate low IQ or degens. So I'm happy that with them and their work in academia, and so I think that will be enjoyable as well as educational debate. All right, what else? News, let's see. We are so blessed with the Montanica. I mean, it really... There was an article, I think it was Serbian magazine or something, that listed last year, they published an article that Montanica is one of the top 10 Orthodox events in the world. And it just gets better and better each year. And it really puts Montana on the map, and what's happening here, and the blessings of God and the growth. It's amazing for a town as small as 35,000 people how large our community is growing, the development of the monastery, everything happening here. So I just, glory to God, I can't be more pleased with what's happening, and that the world's becoming aware of how awesome the priests are up here, and the parishioners, and just the community, and the beauty of Montana as well. And so we have to give glory to God. Let's see if Jay posted. Anything yet on the... Once we get that officially up on the debate, I'll post those on the socials. Anybody can come to Montanica. Yeah. Just buy a ticket. Yeah, I've had a lot of questions. Do you have to be Orthodox? Of course not. You have to be Orthodox. I mean, big time. $20, beer money, or coffee or tea for you. Thank you so much. I'll do coffee because I'm cutting out alcohol for the fast. So, may be blessed. Thank you so much. Let's see if we have any other super chats.
Whoa, we got a big one coming in. Whoa!
Justin, Dave the Philippian, $50. God bless you, Dave. It was so good to see you. Dave says, I just got back from visiting my daughter in Oregon after Montanica. She's moving in with me Florida next month. Can't wait to show her Orthodox prayers and divine liturgy. May God bless your ministry. And Father Russell. Isn't Father Russell great? Everybody that's met him is like, you've got a really, really good priest that you serve and work with. It's like, yeah, truly. I can't thank Father Russell enough. And just our community, too. They're really amazing people. I couldn't do the conference without the people, the volunteers, especially Russell and Shannon, who were the cooks and organized all that. They were fantastic. It's a lot. I just can't tell you how much work it is. And all the parishioners and volunteers, the Mothers Club, who donated the flowers and set up, Stacy, who set up all the banquet tables, and our sponsors. First of all, our speakers, His Grace Bishop Maxim, Metropolitan Jonah, Father Turbo, Father Vasilios Thermos Panagiotos, and then our workshop instructors, Father Russell, Father Andrew Moore, Gary Metz from the St. Paisios Brotherhood, Charlene, Gil, Sarah Berry, God help me, forgive me if I'm forgetting somebody. I want to give out all my shout outs. Our sponsors, Nest Recorders, St. Herman's Studio. We unfortunately couldn't make it this year to sell products. Obviously, Laura Coffee with the coffee collab, Patristic Faith Coffee, St. Paisios Brotherhood. A huge shout out to our big sponsor, Hellenic College Holy Cross, also Punks and Monks, Benton Floor Covering, Speakeasy 41, and Distinctly Montana, who did the swag bags. And then all the people who came too. The conference wouldn't be what it is without you. David Hicks, owner of the monastery, and all his help. So my thanks to them. Let's see, we got some more super chats. Justin Henley donates $20. Montana was incredible. Forgive me for asking for a blessing when I first heard that. Please hold another conference next year. Absolutely. There was questions about whether we were gonna. It's getting so large. Where are we gonna move the venue? I don't want to move the venue to a conference center. There's something special about having it at the church. So, I think we're just going to cap it at 170, 175. And so, if you're not in, if you don't get the tickets, you don't. Level Coast, $5. Why is June your favorite month? It's not personally my favorite month, other than Montanica occurs in June. I like winter. I like snow and skiing. So, the winter months are usually my favorite month. I've always had, December and January because of Christmas, and the kind of ethos of Christ coming into the world, and that it even affects the pagans. The whole pagan secular world is lifted up. Like, there's something always special about those months too. But yeah, I don't know if Happy Pride. Yeah, month, absolutely. June is, we celebrate, in fact, I celebrate pride and bigotry every month. So to all you bigots out there, and happy Pride and bigotry. Bigotry towards sin and debauchery, soul-destroying actions is a virtue. Do not let them weaponize those words against you. Take it back. And take every thought and make it obedient to Christ. So, amen. Proud bigot here. Shastley 149. Oh, by the way, speaking of gay, I got a conspiracy theory. Are leprechauns gay? Today on the Patristic Faith Q&A discussion. Why is it that at the end of the rainbow you find a leprechaun? Are leprechauns gay? What say you? Proud bigot, reporting for duty, amen. We're going to have to increase... And the thing is, it just gets better. When we increase the price of the tickets, we will. Not by a lot, but it's because it gets bigger. If you want it bigger and better, we got to increase the price a little bit. Get your proud bigot stickers. Let's see if I can... I love that the whole gay month backfired this like it didn't go anywhere. Let's see. I don't know if I could share this, but Fire to the leprechauns gay at the end of the rainbow. Always knew it. Leprechauns are gay. I just didn't have the conceptual framework to process what I already knew in my heart. I'm gonna find a picture for you. And celebrating pride and bigotry, we will... Yes, here it is. Why is this not opening? The thing is, I feel like I can't, like, it may not allow me to share the photos. Uh-oh, what's going on with my computer? Yeah, okay, come on, Lord. Let me be able to share this capture. My computer is just slow. Don't tell me because I have too many windows up. I don't want to hear it. It says not responding. Okay. Can you see that? Or is it just white? Let's see. I'm getting frustrated with my computer. It's weird. Alright, let me try another thing. What a bummer, man. How do I share this with you? I might not be able to. Let's see if I do this. Let me try it again. So if I do this to here, it won't do it. What is going on, man? Not my problem, it's OBS. Sorry. It's a good meme that I made. Too bad you can't see it. You know what? There might be a place I posted this before. Let me look real quick. And maybe the Discord. Under announcements. announcements. How long ago did I do this? Yeah, here it is. All right, I think I got it. Capture. Oh. Pro-gay America. Then you put on your Patristic Faith. And you break the trance, the spell. So, for June Pride and Bigotry Month, I've got that for you guys. All right. I know, I love the... It's a weird question. Are you registered to vote at your current address? Why would you ask me that? So weird. No, I registered to vote in another country. Or maybe I'm not registered to vote. It's a weird... That's a really weird question. All right, other questions. Oh man, I've answered this one so many times, but on faith, you want me to answer that? Jib, I don't think that... I think these guys are pretty good. Like, I'm experienced with them and they're pretty professional. I don't think they'll reschedule. Oh, you're talking about another debate? You see me squinting my eyes. What's the matter with me? Is it up on Capturing? I'm going to look and see if he put it up yet. Capturing Christianity. Oh. I had this joke with my wife where I sing everything in 90s grunge rock. Capturing Christianity. Yeah. Debate time. That'd be cool if he put it up already. I don't see anything yet. Thanks, Shastley. Is that right, Shastley? $3, thank you. Good question about where to start as a beginner. Saint Athanasius on the Incarnation. Saint John of Damascus on the Orthodox faith. If you can find it, I actually think this is a good work too. Saint Augustine on Christian doctrine. The Lives of the Saints is also a great place to start. And wow, thank you, Shastley. Another $5 with a new emoji. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. every year the conference is in, as Montanica suggests, in Montana, and it's always the week after Pentecost because that's a feast week, so you have to actually feast. It's actually uncanonical to fast during a feast, so it's the perfect time to there was another book that I was thinking of that I was going to recommend and I just blanked. By saying John Damascus. I mean, obviously Unholy Images is good too. There was another one I was thinking. What is the matter with my brain this morning? If you are in Montana, in the Helena area, we are having Vespers tonight at our mission parish, Holy Ascension, and then liturgy. Father Paul I'll be picking him up from the airport in a few hours. He visits us and blesses us once a month. He comes and visits us from San Diego, and we'll be doing liturgy tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So look forward to. I will not be in Butte because, again, my primary duties when we have services are here in the Helena area at Holy Ascension, and typically what we do is liturgy every Saturday here, except for once a month we'll do with Father Paul a liturgy Sunday. But every other Sunday I'm down in at Holy Trinity in Butte. And then normally we paused because so many things are going on. We paused the catechesis and continuing education class that is Friday nights, but in a couple weeks we'll probably kick that back up. But there's just so much stuff going on. Got the debate next Friday, and so just some housekeeping and announcements on that. St. Irenaeus on the demonstration of apostolic preaching. What are other? I'm blanking. I'm sorry. My brain went blank. You can always go to a church that's canonical. Yes, as the name suggests, Montanica cannot be held in a place that doesn't have Montanica in the name. So Montana. Noah Strong donates $20. Don't forget the letters of St. Ignatius. Yes. It really showed me what the church is and supposed to be, sound, look like as much as a beginner. Much appreciation for that. Nice love from San Antonio. Yes. By the way, we had a San Antonio priest with me, Father Valentin, and our Houston Romanian priest, Father Julian. I was so blessed. Really good friends and dear brothers. And so we were blessed to have them up with Montanica. Matthew Johnson donates $4.99. A lot of confusion about dispensation because of Israel-Iran conflict. Your thoughts? Well, dispensationalism is a heresy. It's condemned. Wasn't there some meme going around where... Oh, wonderful. Yeah, Noah Strong. That's right. I think we talked about it, that that I had recommended you to Father Valentin's parish, and he was really happy. There's only one church I recommend. It's the Orthodox Church because it is the only church. the whole joke about dispensationalism is that so we have to wait for so the church for 1800 years was incorrect, and we have to wait 1800 years for a man that's in a cult, even by Protestant standards, the Plymouth Brethren, which is the same group that Aleister Crowley, the famous Satanist, came out of, to get a new vision, a new theology, a new public revelation from a fever dream, sponsored by the bankers and the Rothschilds family to support a modern state, nation state, a Zionist state called Israel. Like, doesn't that seem pretty absurd? I mean, that on its own, like, you don't even need to go that far into the details. And so, yeah, it's got several problems. It's a new revelation. It's not what was received. It comes out of a cult. It says that God has two distinct peoples. That he works with, and that Christians are kind of a default plan because it didn't work. It inherently ties faith to geographical location and biology and genetics rather than faith in the triune God. So yeah, it's entirely satanic. And it has nothing to do with the church. It's literally made up. Other questions. Let's see if we have any other super chats. We do. Get my glasses on. My Joseph Smith glasses so I can interpret. Oh, I got it all. Oh, wait, Big Time. I missed you. $5. Thank you, Big Time. Jay recommends 4 books of Clark Carlson, The Way of the Fit. Yes, that's a good place to start. Level Coast donates $5. Studies have shown there's a propensity with homophobia and bigotry towards LGBT with closeted queerness. So the more time you spend thinking about LGBT... Well, isn't that interesting that they would... science says, right? Let's call that the fallacy of... And isn't it interesting that those same faggotry studies, like, isn't that exactly what you'd expect them to come up with? First of all, you can get a study to say whatever. But what a weird thing to say. That, suppose it were true. It's still a sin, and still... Like, so what does it matter? Like, first of all, anybody knows that's obviously a made up. It's the academic version of ye who smelt it dealt it fallacy. So we all know it's retarded and nobody takes that seriously. But even if we granted that, like... it's still an ad hominem, and it doesn't make faggotry a moral virtue, and not a soul-destroying, societal, individual, destroying action. So, a lot of faggotry going on in the stream today. It's weird. Yeah. No strong. Everyone who is mad at Islam is a closet. What a weird. Yeah. anything you disagree with means that you're actually agreeing with me, in secret. So the fact that you're responding to this means that you secretly agree with me. Studies have shown, in my science laboratory of my office room and my science machine, using my quantum analysis foam machine, we now know that when you object to my arguments, that you're a secret supporter of the Orthodox Church and FDA. So you turn these things against somebody. So congratulations, you have refuted yourself. It is self-defeating. Gary G, $20, thank you. Reading Father Stephen DeYoung's book, I would also recommend that. He suggests Paul is practicing hesychasm when he sees the Lord. Is this the same as schema monks that practice? Would that make sense that he was... Who wasn't a convert? Of course, convert, like... We know he's a convert, but the book is great. Yeah, obviously, I think stillness and prayer, and obviously the Jesus prayer itself is in Scripture. Son of David, have mercy on me, is in there. To pray without ceasing. It's the hesychasm is definitely in Scripture. But thank you, Gary. Can't debate mental disorder, seriously. $46 people. Let's get those numbers up. Let me see if I missed any. Level Coast, are you an ally with our proud bigotry movement? We need to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Are you with us or against us? Do you have bigotry towards sin, vice, and morally and societal destruction actions? Are you an ally? Mm-hmm. Are with the devil? I think I lean more towards, that they did. The Book of Enoch, too, supports some of this and some tradition. Obviously, it's not a dogmatic issue proclaimed from the councils or something like that, but it's certainly a tradition in the church that I think has more support than not. Dr. Nathan Jacobs was the first person to kind of change my mind on this. So you might look on the Nathan Jacobs podcast, and I'll give him a shout out. Dear friend of mine, was a speaker last year as well, to look into that, but he's really good at that area. All right, bigots, let's go. What other questions do you have? Bigot Hotline here. How can I help you? I love how they weaponize words. And remember, these people don't care anything about truth. They're Luciferians, do what thou wilt, individualists, misanthropes. They hate themselves and humanity. They're phobic, bigots themselves towards morality and objective morality. And what they do is they weapon, because they don't believe in objective truth, they don't believe in God and objective morality, then everything is power, libido dominandi, even language itself, and interpreted through a kind of post-Marxian critical theorist lens of presuppositions of oppressor and oppressed, where words don't have any objective meaning, and therefore to be used, we talked about this with the virtuous victimhood, to gain the power over you, the upper hand over you. And so they use these shame words and spell words that they cast over you: bigotry, homophobia, and also notice the with the word homophobia and stuff like that, a hat tip to Freud, is some type of pathology. We even saw in here too, you're really secret, unconsciously you're secret homosexual if you don't agree with me. All of that is kind of a Freudianism as well. And so the best way to do is to own the words and use it back against them. Take away the power by embracing, like, absolutely, we're bigots against degeneracy and societal destroying actions. What are you going to do about it? Can't shame me. Your words don't have any power over us anymore. I have no idea what, without talking to Father Stephen DeYoung, what he means by that, and reading in detail. Like, obviously it does seem like he's to convert, to change from killing Christians to becoming one and becoming an apostle seemed like, I don't know what a better example of convert or change would be. Like, so I don't know what the reference about the 3 small hats in captivity. Sorry, I am ignorant of many things. That happens to be one of them. So I can't, unfortunately, answer that question. Good questions, though, today. I'm a QPOC 8. What is that? But, level close, I'll give it to you. Give credit where credit's due. You are charitable. What are the good things I can say about you? You're here. Okay. On here. That's a good thing. You seem to be very charitable. You've given some super chats, so I thank you. That's very... there's a certain level of honesty with you. So, you said I have religious trauma, and thought of religion disgusts me a little bit. So, I want to give you praise where praise is due. Thank you for being honest and open. I see a therapist. I'm on medication. It helps me manage, but it's not a cure. I hope you wake up and stop believing in fairy tales. Well, you know, we're actually offering medicine that does work. And, like, again, thank you for being open and willing. But first of all, I'm trying to remember who said that Orthodoxy is not a religion. It's the truth. What we call religions might have elements of truth or something like that, but Orthodoxy is unique, so you can't really lump us in. Also, it's not to condemn you or any of us. It's to heal you. So, but you have free will. I mean, obviously, the whole conference was about therapia, what that looks like in Orthodoxy, and why it doesn't work for the most part in a secular. So I've worked with NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness, worked a lot in mental health. I'm sorry to tell you that the cronyism of pharmaceutical government and foundations and medical community is not going to heal. Those medications are not going to fix you. They might alleviate for a particular time. I've worked with a lot of people. And so there is a medication that will. But if you call it a fairy tale, I can't help you. We wish you the best. We pray for you. And, but, if it does work, it's the medication. If you refuse to take it or experience the healing benefits of, we've all have mental illness in some sense. We've got ourselves to think about things incorrectly. We're not seeing reality. And if you call reality, so notice how everything's inverted. Reality now becomes a fairy tale, and fairy tales become reality. That is mental illness at different levels. And so, the problem, we can give you all the arguments and evidence. It's there clear as day. But if the problem is the mind can't actually properly interpret or understand those things because it's mentally ill, no amount of arguments, you have to have a rehab program that restructures the way that you think and heals the mind and soul so that you can actually see things but correctly and be healed. And so God help you. Thank you for your work or your willingness to be here. And for your super chats. Detective graphics. What level seminary? You mean like an MDiv? Or... Because seminary has undergraduate too, so I haven't got a chance to watch J&T. I've been so busy, forgive me. Brooks Goodnight donates $5. Farmageddon, yeah. Pharmaceutical and the modern medical is not in the business of healing you, but keeping you purchasing medication so they make money, right? So, obviously it's not, if you're honest with yourself, it's not working. How does one prepare for seminary? That's a good... Well, if it's an MDiv, you have to prepare by getting a bachelor's in something. Prayer and talking with your priest. Yeah, it's morbidity care, not health care. What you could do is get a head start on reading some of the the texts that are going to be, that might be a good... Yeah, that's a great, crispy, great. Dude, the doctors prescribing psychotropic medication explain the distressed patient that the meds will reduce their lifespan by 30 years. Yeah, good. And I mean, look, doctor. It's not that there's malintent with doctors. They're educated in this system. They don't know any better. Like that's where else. I mean, they're kind of in a situation. Where, what else do you do? Where else do you go? They don't know. Occasionally, you get some few like doctors that are kind of more holistic or realize the kind of dangers of pharmaceuticals and psychotropic uh, prescription medications. May I inquire about the difference in intent when you pray? Well, yeah, I mean, think about. First of all, prayer is not. I think God's a genie and I'm doing incantation petitions to make him give me what I want. So it lies in the primary purpose of prayer is to enter into a personal relationship with God that begins to change you of who you are, um, and your orientation towards God, the world, and fellow mankind, that you become more like God, so that you decrease, so that He increase. Right? Thy will be done. God teaches us how to pray, not my will. And so again, it's about the heart and intent. You know, if you're a selfish person that just wants power and I want God to do these things, not because it's best for me, that I'm handing over this to God in an act of humility, but because I know better than God what's best for me and what I need, then God's not going to answer that because He's a loving God. Or, you know, most of the time, maybe He does to teach you that. Do you want what you really want? You know, there might be times for pedagogical reasons that He answers prayers and gives us what's not best for us. They learned that it's my will, not thy will, be done with the person. Yeah, we're not. That's the occult. Is that it's about like sigil magic and power and manipulation of the universe and stuff like that. So, good question though. What else? What can I say? Brooks, good night. $5. Dale, this $7.20. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Wow. God bless you. See what other questions you guys had that Yeah, when Scripture says, "Be anxious for nothing, but everything in prayer and supplication, let your requests be known to God," and that He's faithful to answer our prayers, it doesn't mean answer it. It's a magical incantation that He'll answer your prayer the exact way that you requested it, at the exact time that you want. It doesn't say that. But ultimately, what's best for you. And again, the purpose of prayer is to change you, to enter into a relationship. Eek donates $5. Could you briefly go over the distinction between biblical Israel and the nation state of Israel in a way that I could explain to other people? Well, first of all, there is a genetic element to biblical Israel. Why? Well, the whole purpose of biblical Israel is a people set apart. The very notion of setting apart is the notion of sanctity and holiness. And in the lineage and of King David, in the fulfillment of prophecies, and obviously God picks a certain group of people, not because they're superior people genetically or anything like that. Well, God has to pick a certain group of people, and He ultimately knows from a cosmic perspective how this all works out. But in the lineage of King David, the genetic line is prophesied that Christ would come. So there needs to be a people that has to be preserved, that the fulfillment. But Israel is the church. It is the church before Pentecost, in a kind of nascent way, and it's not totally reducible to a genetic element, other in the sense that yes, God picked a genetic group of people, a tribe, right, in a particular place. But the genetic element, the line running through it, is the lineage of King David. Okay, so, however, other people were capable of being grafted in. So what really made Israel is the true believer. So when the prophets came, so what if somebody in that group says, well, I don't believe in Moses. I don't believe. Well, they're no longer part of Israel. Because as Revelation continues, if you don't believe in it, then you're not part of it. So just because you shared a genetic element or a geography doesn't mean, in the Old Testament, if you rejected the divine revelation, then you obviously were not part of Israel. This is exactly what culminates in apostolic times, that the Jews who accepted Christ were part of Israel. This is why it says in the Bible, not everybody of Israel, right? A group, an ethno group in a particular area is of Israel. So Christ is clearly teaching it's the faith. That is the necessary condition for Israel, right? Is that one accepts the revelation of God to man. So the apostate Jews who rejected the faith of Christ are no longer Israel. And so that's why at Pentecost, the descent of the Holy Spirit, and the apostles are given to the fullness of faith, that is Israel. So at that point, and the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, the old is done away with. Like, there is no, right? And all that's left is an apostate kind of Israel. Like, there is no other Israel to talk about at that point other than the church. It's like they're the ones that believe in the revelation of God, just like their forefathers did. And anybody that rejects that obviously was not, even if they had a genetic element, like your father was Hebrew, doesn't mean you're Israel, because you reject God. Like, that's okay. So, the fact that a secular atheistic Jews in the 19th century, 20th century, come up with an idea to reestablish a nation state. Israel is no longer, it's not a nation, political nation that has a capital and it's just absurd, right? And so that's why it's secular. It's an atheistic, it's establishment backed by bankers and the Rothschilds and the British. So that's hopefully answers your question. Is that, and it's the same problem that people get so tripped up with words. Which Orthodox church? What if Pastor Babbling Baptist Bob puts the word Orthodox on his sign, and does it make it the Orthodox Church? Well, they say it's Orthodox. It's like, come on, man. It's the same way. It's like, just because people use the word Israel and slap it on a modern secular atheistic nation state, created by Herschel, and this is Zionism and supported by the Rothschilds and the Balfour Declarations and stuff like that, doesn't make it Israel. So, and furthermore, nobody even had that thought until 1800 years later. So it's just a total ahistorical and anti kind of biblical Christian idea. Yeah, the faith of Abraham is the Trinity. Abraham worshipped the Trinity. I mean, look at St. Andrei Rubelov's icon. So, yeah, modern Talmudic rabbinical Jews and Muslims are not Abrahamic religions, because Abraham worshipped the Trinity. No, you do not need philosophy after finding orthodoxy. Think about this. There is one body with many parts. I'm going to name some of those parts. Singers, cooks, cleaners, altar servers, theologians, philosophers, pastors, in the sense of the priest, pastoral roles. Help me out. Give me some more. Organizers, parish council members. All of those are different parts of the body. That'd be like, we've got some really good cooks, really good singers. And that's actually part of the theology, the practice. Now, what if you came in and you saw people singing amazing and say, do I have to become a professional cantor to become Orthodox? It's like, no, it's, yeah, the flower arrangement, absolutely. No, there's just, we look at the parable of the talents. Everybody's given a different talent. What we do is we sanctify everything. And we offer it to God in a Eucharistic thanksgiving to thine own of thine own. We give it back to, so whatever your talents are in your career, sanctify it. Offer it to God. Offer it into the church, right? As for those who are academics and philosophers who use arguments and reason and logic and debate to destroy fallacious arguments and lead people away from error into truth and defend the truth, like, has a use in the church. It's fantastic. Use it. If you are an event planner, and you're good at that, use that for the church. This is what we call in ethics, ethical monism. And we reject that. We're actually ethical pluralists. There's no one size fits all as far as the good life. Eudaimonia, right? And Aristotle had, unfortunately, this kind of idea that the superior life and the only good life could be found in basically being a philosopher. Because that's man's nature as a rational animal and stuff like. So he was an ethical monist. And that's, as we know now, it's a bit silly. Is that, well, not everybody has that gift. Somebody doesn't do philosophy. They do art, they paint. Their fulfillment is found in that, their joy and purpose of sanctifying that and offering it to God and the church and their fellow man. So I think that's a good way to kind of, it's like, there is not one size fits all. Do I mind explaining the Rubelife icon? A little? Shoot. It's obviously a theophany, an energetic manifestation of that God is a person, that he's three persons, that he's in communion and fellowship at a table, right? Like, and the hospitality, the icon is called the hospitality of Abraham. And that to be orthodox is to be what? Personal, not abstract, right? Not a list of dogmas and a philosophical system. It's to share a meal together in a face-to-face relationship. That is the very image of God becomes energetically manifest, is a community, one God. And so you also get the one and the many, that it's three persons without being three gods. So the one and the three are not, the one and the many are not set in dialectical distinction. So as we say in the Akathis, it refutes the philosophers. Their whole philosophical system is refuted by the Trinity. It's incarnational. It's here, there. Toto T, this right here. There's a philosophical phrase that I'm trying to think of. It's not virtual. That's important too. It's actually God in his energies. That's important. And that's why it's not good to have liturgy streamed online. It's virtual. It's removed from reality. It's literally anti-incarnational. Right? We have to be in community, face-to-face, and non-virtual, non-abstract, just as the icon of Saint Andrei Rublev explains. It's a face-to-face. It's an immediate experience of knowing, not this way, but noetically in the mystery of the person. And then it's hospitality. Orthodoxy is hospitality. Right? And so all of that is in that beautiful icon. No, it's not an animated film. It's what am I blanking on? It's a black and white film by Tarkovsky. Yeah, one essence and undivided. And that goes back to the early question about the dyad and the triad. I've had to explain this a million times. I need to figure out why, like, to me, like, as soon as I read that, it made sense. Like, I was like, wow. So I'm always trying to kind of get outside of my mind. It's like, of course, the things that make sense to me make sense to me. Why don't they make sense to other people? Like, why is it that people struggle with certain things that I might find, like, are just manifestly obvious? That's hard for me. So it could be just like being trained in ancient Greek philosophy, like understanding how they understood the monad, the one and the many, and then continued my history of philosophy all the way through this kind of theme of the one and the many. One literally means undivided. It's an apophatic word. It's a negative. So what you have is, and this comes up in philosophy, even with the philosophy in mind, terms that are actual true dichotomies. When they're defined, they're in terms of their co-relative relationship. Left is the opposite of right. Right's the opposite. So there's terms like that. One is the exact same way. Not many, not divided. That's how it's defined. Okay. So the next principle then is number, which means multiplicity. That's dyad, that's two. Because one actually is not a number. It's what in Greek mathematics and the philosophy of mathematics is called the principle of number, the principia. It's that by which you make numbers out of. So, if one is not many, and two, the next principle, dyad, is not one. Like that's... So in the Greek mind, obviously, if one is not many, and two, which is many, is not one by definition, then two must be difference. If one signifies, the monad signifies unity, right? What is unity? Not multiplicity. Do you see these opposite categories? Then dyad is difference. As soon as you see two, you know it's not one, right? If the two weren't different, they would be one. But two is not one. So it's the principle of difference. So now I have categories of opposition that I can't... They're literally defined correlatively in terms of the antithesis of the other. One, the monad stands for unity, not difference. And dyad, two, is the principle of difference and not unity. So between the opposites, there's no proportion to, because they're defined in antithesis to relate those. Okay, three is neither monad nor dyad. Triad. So if the one and the many is distinguished in terms of dyad and monad, then triad doesn't fit into those categories. It's not in a dialectical opposition to any of those. In fact, three contains monad and dyad. And so it's triad that unites. Because if I can't... Remember I talked about I need a proportion by which two opposing categories could be related. One negates dyad, and dyad negates monad. Okay, so I can't bring them together. The only thing that can is triad. Triad is one and dyad, right? But it's neither one nor... It can't be reduced to it. It contains it. So there's the bridge. So then triad becomes the principle of all things, not the Greek metaphysics. And any multiplication, right, 4, 5, 6, is just reducible in principle to the exact, like it breaks down to you either have one monad, dyad, or triad. So again, it's triad is the starting point for all things. That's how. Yeah, of course there's a this conception's lost in modernity because modernity rejects metaphysics. These are metaphysical principles. So the modernity is marked by the abolition of, especially when you get to Kant, metaphysics. So there's kind of no meaning behind kind of numbers other than, no metaphysical meaning or any kind of. It's just this abstract kind of axiomatic game and system that you try to consistently arrange according to your arbitrary rules. So it must just be clear to me because, like I said, I studied Greek philosophy. Big time donates $5. Wade J debated Miss Fat Patriot. He quoted Romans 4 and Galatians 3, the seed of Abraham. Who's Miss Fat Patriot? The seed of Abraham with the faith of Abraham. So, I already addressed that. Yeah, the faith of Abraham is triadic, Trinitarian. Athelston donates $10. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your support. Man, we got a lot of super chats today. That was awesome. What happened to the person that was asking about? Is it this person? Let's see. Nope. When the first time I first tried to start stuff in here and then jumped out. I don't understand why people. I mean, before you even get a debate and theology, what if I just give you a crash course on time management? Like, why are you on? If you hate the church and hate everything I'm saying, why are you even on here? Wasting your time. I mean, obviously, you're not going to convince anybody. You haven't come up with a killer argument that's. If you did, it's probably you're not going to be able to put it in chat. What about if I just help you manage your time? Be like, coming on here is just a waste of time. You're not going to win everybody. Well, I can't find the person now. It's because the stupid thing only allows me to go. Oh, it says top chat. Let me see if I do. All messages. It was early on. All this can be explained psychologically. What is the matter with me? As Dr. Crispy says, I have PTSD from Christina Gallagher on Ackle Island. I've been running from her for my whole life. And I really have Christina Gallagher phobia. You can do a modern psychoanalysis for me and be like, we can trace all his problems back. When did he really start to go off the rails? It was when he found out about Christina Gallagher and visited the House of Prayers in Ackle Island. He just never has been the same. It's like we go into war, right? He came back and he just, his methods, let's say, were unsound. What happened? Well, he saw Christina Gallagher, and he never was the same. So, bonus points to Crispy for doing a psychoanalysis on FDA here. Which is weird that I'm referring to myself in the third person. As FDA always says. He's totally cracking up. Oh, QPOC is queer person of color. Is that bonus points, right? You add up. If I'm oppressed, I'm queer, I'm a person of color, I'm an illegal immigrant, what are the other ones I could add to? Do you know there's a whole list of like points that you get? Virtuous victimhood points in terms of the left and elevated to a position of superiority. Atheist? Is it atheist? No. I saw there was a list of it that neurodivergent. Neurodivergent. My wife hates when I use it. Like, I tease my wife. I'm like, you can't say that to me. I'm neurodivergent. I got ADD. You see, that's bigotry to a neurodivergent person like me. But neurodivergent, they're power words, right? Oh, you can't really say that person is neurodivergent. I could have added another one. I was in a wheelchair, so I was disabled. So you disability. If you object to me, because I am a neurodivergent, disabled, trans vegan, isn't that what Tristan always says? So I got 3 points. Help me out. What other one? A persecuted Orthodox religious minority, huh? In an anti-Orthodox American society. I got 4 points. Neurodivergent. I have Christina Gallagher, PTSD, disability. So you can't. Should I try this on my debate on Friday? I'd be like, clearly your argument's wrong and I'm right, because I've got 5 virtuous victim, leftist virtuous victimhood points, and I win. Like, you see, you can't be. Are you bigoted? We got a bigot here. By the way, what constitutes a person of color? That I don't. Is that only black, or like Latino? Does Latino constitute as a person of color? I'm really confused. Help me out, guys. Now's your time to educate me. The one thing that you can't, funny enough, self-identify, right? These people were anti-science and anti-biologists when it comes to everything except for what? Color and race. Isn't that weird? Why? Because that's what gives them, that's the oppressor oppressed, that's what gives them the upper hand. Funny story, when I worked at Cal State Fullerton, which was a really liberal, the faculty was really liberal there. You know, they were like promoting like self-identifying, you can, you know, identify whatever you want. And then somebody seriously, who was a liberal themselves, published an article about race and color itself being a social, or race, I guess, being a social convention, and therefore you can self-identify with any race. And, well, color is just an idea, you see. So I identify, that's what Jay says, I identify as a black man, or a black woman, or a blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these wings and learn to fly into the woke culture. This is a new Beatles song that came out. Oh, you can't, all the professors got so mad. You can't do that. Everything's just a social contract. There is no objective truth or morality or anything like that. And we're going to be tolerant of all things and all ideas. We're accepting of all, except for you, and that idea. Isn't that funny? The hypocrisy, call it out. Like, total not so. But the thing is, if you're a postmodern relativist, woke leftist, it's consistency is white, you know, is that's logic. That's white supremacy, you see. Like, you just keep labeling those. They don't care about being intellectual hypocrites. They don't care about being consistent. It's about power. That's why I say it's rooted in hate. Hate of themselves, hate of the world, they're misanthropes, hate of God. You saw this with this person here. They hate God. Atheist hates God. There are no atheists. There's just those that hate God and say God doesn't exist. Well, everybody knows God in their heart, of course. And so they want to beat you. They want to subjugate you while using words to hide their crimes, as the neo-Gnostic does, as Eric Vogel says, by using words of love and kindness and tolerance. They're cons. You just pull back the veil a little bit and you're like, there it is. There's hate. Interesting, not bigotry, phobia, fear, right? Like everything that they're, accuse your opponent of the thing that you're doing. That's what they, so your job is somebody who does apologetics, or even not, like your job of loving truth, goodness, and beauty is to expose cons, right? Why? Because you're not a misanthrope, you're a philanthropist, right? You're a lover of man. You love your fellow mankind and want the best for them. And you don't want con artists to destroy people. That's what's so crazy about libertarianisms, just how satanic and narcissistic and egotistical it is. I don't care what anybody else is doing as long as they ain't raping and my family or stealing my money and property. It's like, what a terrible thing to say. What a misanthropic thing. Like, you don't care about people? Libertarianism. I don't care about anything but myself. That summed up. What a terrible... Of course, I want people to, like, engage in vices and and hurt themselves and society and their souls, and God help us, the most innocent children, right? Like, what is the matter with you libertarians? I identify as a Chinese appetizer. Yeah, I lack melanin. Why can't I ask that? I lack melanin. As a Irish, Norwegian, I guess I've got British in me too. Why can't I? So nobody's gonna what I don't. What is? I'm gonna look it up. What is a person of color? I don't even know. What is? Let's do grok. I'm just interested. Okay. It can't literally just be like I got like superficial, right? There's got to be like, okay, here we go. Not it's apathetic. Anybody that's not European, Black, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, Pacific Islander, multiracial. It's used to describe those who have historically faced systemic discrimination and marginalized. Here, all the language in there, based on race. Or there is the Marxist critical theorist, virtuous victimhood. Everybody but Christians, right? Notice Christianity doesn't get to go in the marginalized. Oh, shared experience. Here's those who see, it's my shared experience. It's all about like the experience and feeling. See, it's not about logic or consistency or and I'd actually argue that, especially today, the most marginalized attack groups are probably those that they define an antithesis to these groups. I'm not going to get into it on here, but you know what I'm saying. Like, so everything's inverted. It's crazy with these people. Oh, shoot. This is so not on these issues are so not on my mind. Like, I actually had to look up. I'm so removed from this, thank God, that I don't even know what these terms mean. I actually had to look up on Grok. Somebody asked a question about tag. Shoot. What does that mean? Shoot. Shoot is in shoot, go ahead, or shoot. Here we go again. Yeah, that's a good point. Big time. Johnny's $5. Yeah, well, remember this with on the Pierce Morgan with Jay and Andrew. they get to, and Pierce Morgan call them out, like, so I was talking to some parishioners about this too, the whole culture of being offended, which did not exist in the 90s when I grew up, or the 80s. This was AstroTurf created critical theory nonsense that to get the upper hand and to manipulate you and to control you and to subjugate you through words, through power words, sorcery words. So, well, you can't say retarded, which is one of my favorite words. And of course we qualify. We don't really, nobody's using that to actually degrade people who are mentally challenged. It's people who are not. Okay? Well, we own that's offensive, right? But accusing us using the word cannibalism is not. So they're the arbitrators of reality, that which is and that which is not. As they deny and give Promethean fist of rebellion to God, the Lord, who's established this good created order, they destroy it. And they construct it in their own image. Now we get to use those words, and now we get to decide who's marginalized and who's not. Christians can't be, and well, it's whatever. How do you define that? And they can't argue. They get to some notion of like harm, total subjective, like almost impossible, vague word to kind of pinpoint. But you use that, as Andrew does, to put it back on them. That's what we're doing with these words is the words that you're using, I'm owning it, and then I'm putting it back on you, and it takes away their power. So yeah, we are the most marginalized. We don't even, everybody else is allowed to give it a defense. I mean, how much more marginalized can you get? Not only are you the most persecuted group, you can't even, everybody else is allowed to defend themselves except for Christians. And harm. So your ideology of acceptance, right, that you're forcing on people, so you don't believe in the virtues of choice and free will and stuff like that. No, we're forcing you to, and we will take away your jobs, your livelihood, we will ostracize you, we will turn the community against you. We'll make you persona non grata if you don't do what we say. And what we say is for you to lie. Lie to yourself, right? Lie to God, lie to the world, lie to reality, and be in delusion. If you don't do that, we're going to punish you. And isn't that crazy? That's what that is. That's what that group. Mental illness is a myth, a metaphor for problems and living in the way. Yeah, I think most of it's spiritual. I mean, it's mental in the sense that it affects the mind, like, but it can all quote unquote mental illness. And thank you so much, Revelations, for Pathy, $5 for donating. What we're denying is that what's called mental disorders, quote unquote, can all be reduced to simply neurophysiological explanations. That's absurd. Like, I reject it. Because man isn't a brain. Right? He's a holistic being. And so disorders or deviations from the norm of what it is to think correctly in a healthy way cannot simply be reduced to one thing. That's what. I wish you guys were here for the therapy. It was really cool. Now, do problems have a biological, neurophysiological element to, like, can you see that? Can you? Well, yeah. I mean, the very fact that I'm always promoting health and diet, most of those things can be cured. We have a guy up here. I think he's done some streams with who was it that he was just on, but suffer from, he just moved up here too. Schizoid affective disorder. Basically got it all to go away by going on the carnivore diet. And he did a whole thing about curing mental illness. He was on, and forgive me, I can't remember what recent stream. Do you know what I'm talking about? Robert Conley is his name. Alright, I'm going to subscribe to Capturing Christianity. I did it. The good thing about going on Saturday is I'm not competing with Jim Bob, am I? Jim Bob, I'm so sad that you didn't come up. Our bluegrass jam and the professional band that came out was so awesome. I don't even know who Thomas Cezanne is. Oh, that's awesome. Didn't even know that retarded was a word that you couldn't use. Don't back down. I've had people try to shame me like, you don't say, and I'm like, you don't tell me what to do. What are you going to do about it? That word I will never give up. I love it. I use it for myself, as Jay you did too. Yeah, Dr. Chris Palmer has cured schizophrenia using keto diets. So there is a biological and, also the gut brain with the gut biome, the connection there. So we're not even saying like, well, it's just all spiritual and you just like, it's holistic. It's a whole thing. Man's not just an immaterial spiritual being. He's a biological being as well. He's a social being. It has a societal, how one relates, it's a whole picture there. Whole mosaic. All right. What? What's your problem, bud? What's your question? Isn't it sad that everything is like copyrighted, that like I can't even... I love playing clips from... And if I would have done that from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I would have been demonetized. Do you know what's interesting? Lewis said this to me once from Orthodox Shahada. I thought it was a great point. He's like, Father, you Yanks are a very litigious society. And I'm like, oh man, that's actually really true. Why are we so litigious? Like, I'll sue you. It's libertarianism. Libertarianism strikes again. Should I do it in a Sean Connery? Can't believe it. Libertarian strikes again. I'll sue you. Everybody's suing everybody. That's mine. I own it. That's my property. Somebody pours my water hole. Who? I, me, mine. There's another Beatles song. All through the day, I'm in mind, I'm in mind, I'm in mind. So true. Narcissistic, consumeristic, individualistic, litigious society that I live in. That's so sad. Now, I get it at a certain point, like, you know, you're losing money or something, like, and everybody's using it. Okay, I get it, but, like, come on. You know what I'm talking about. Moses, forgive me. You sent me a text. Forgot to respond to you. Montanica was awesome. I was just so caught, like... I had a million people calling and texting right in the middle of the conference going on, so... But good to see you, brother. I'm so sorry you didn't make it this year. Is homelessness the only answer? Guys, I figured it out. I've got good news and bad news for you. We got a solution. Bad news is we all got to become homeless. You got it. I need the sounds like the when you guys give good answers. And I love prefacing something with, well, there's an easy answer, and I've got good news and bad news. Good news is there's an easy answer. Bad news, you're not going to like it. We all got to become homeless. I think homelessness, I'm going to run with that, a campaign. Homelessness is the answer to everything. How are we going to fix the economy? Just make everybody homeless. That's obvious. Professor, I'm stuck on this math problem. What's the solution? Homelessness. That's what will solve every mathematical problem. Can you help explain tag to me? Yes. But first, son, you must learn homelessness. Mama, mama, mama. No, 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 no. Mama, 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 mama. I'm going to do it. I don't understand tag. Well, it's because you're not homeless, you see. Until you can spend at least 5 years homeless, of course you'll never understand tag. You're too rich, man. All right, give me another one. How do you solve taxes? Oh, homelessness. See? You got it. Cancer, homelessness. Have you noticed you've never met a homeless cancer patient? Homelessness is the answer. Have you ever met a homeless person that's having difficulty with their taxes? Homelessness. Have you ever a homeless person that has an objection to tag? Because homelessness is the answer. What if I told you that you could become more of a human being by becoming homeless? Yeah, if you're... Do you still have to pay... Skid Row apologetics. Alright, I gotta come up with another... How do you get out of your medical bills? You become homeless, you see. You're out of work, become homeless. You can beg for... How many of the world's... How do you solve wars? Do you think Iran and Israel would be fighting if everybody was homeless? Yeah. President Obama said, we're all Keynesians now. FDA says, we're all homeless now. You see, so Keynesian was supposed to be the economic solution. No, we're all homeless now. How do we defeat terrorism? Homelessness. Nothing left to lose. Yes. Gang warfare? Homelessness. That is FDA's Skid Row apologetics. Yeah, you know what's crazy? I was thinking about that. We have some low-income housing in downtown. By downtown, like our city's 30,000 people, so it's not big. And I was looking at them, and I was like, they're really nice. And there's another one right up the road from the fairgrounds that, like, are individual, like, homes, like, with a lawn, and, like, they really look nice. And I'm like, first of all, it's probably, like, a 4-year waiting list to get on. But I'm like, well, that's not the problem. It's your neighbors. The units are awesome looking. Like, I was really impressed. But you have to live next to the sort of people that, I'm talking about, below societal, let's just say their methods are unsound. And it's also interesting too, look, I'm going to be somewhat hypocritical when my room's messy when I say this, but there really is something cleanliness is next to godly. Like, have you ever seen, like, somebody's car, like, you walk by somebody's car and it's just, there's like, it looks like they've been living down it. It's piled up. There's fast food wrappers that have been eaten. There's probably bugs in there. And, forgive me, I'll be judged the same way. That was the gospel you read. But, like, and I don't mean to judge this to condemn what's specifically talking about, too, in terms of their eternal fate and stuff like that. But I can certainly make a righteous judgment about that. I'm like, I don't want to be like that. That is a sign of an underlying symptom of that person's life most likely is completely chaotic and disordered. I find it interesting, too, that the same sort of person, I'm just generically speaking, that you would see a car that you're just like, that is disgusting. What I understand, these are the same people when you live, they're always in fights and yelling, right? You like had a neighbor that it's just like, the yard's a mess, the car's like disgusting, they just don't take care, like, everything else becomes disordered from the center. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to, they're always angry and yelling and fights, and I feel bad I'm like, what's going on deeper down in their lives that has, but anyways, you see that, unfortunately, with low-income housing and stuff, like the reason why, for the most part, the people are in there is because they can't get the kind of fundamentals. Why do you think Jordan Peterson says, clean your room? He's kind of basics, right, of ordering and structuring your life, that it's like, well, you can't get work, you can't, like, you can't hold down a job, you can't maintain proper relations, you can't keep your yard clean, your dishes, right? So that's why I think it's important, even in my own life, that I'm like, I should keep things clean. I should keep things, like, that's part of a well-ordered, healthy lifestyle. Low-income housing, you have to make, let's see, who qualifies for low income? Let's see what it is in Montana. It's going to differ from each state. Well, that doesn't help me. 50%, those who earn 50% of the area median income. What is the area median income? Let's do Grok. These are things that Grok's good at. I always feel like I'm like kind of guilty. What is the area media income of Helena, Montana? $69,000 increase. Last year was $64,000. That's the median. So obviously, what did I say? It was 69. Man, I'm almost there. I probably could qualify for it. I feel terrible about myself. 34,000. If you make below 34,000, you qualify for. However, the metropolitan area, the county, which includes Lewis and Clark and Jefferson's County, has a median household income of 74,000. So, I don't know if they're basing on county, the metropolitan area, the entire area, or Helena itself. But that's what. Anything below that. Yeah, Greta was had the best. Jordan Peterson. So the answer is low income. Like there's not. I mean, and it's relative to the area you live in. I mean, think about it. If you're self-sufficient living on a farm making $30,000, like, obviously you're not really poor. Like, so it's relative. Holy smokes, 50,000 where you are. My wife got me to clean up my car. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for getting me to clean up my car. Encouraging me. We're talking about messy cars. Mine didn't have food in it. It had like ski equipment and fishing poles, like fishing stuff, and I cleaned it up. I'm starting to. I'm back, guys. I'm cleaning. I just gotta clean my room, my office. Everything else in the house is really clean. Thank God my wife does a great job. Dishes are clean. The house is clean. It's my office. I have so many books and stuff stacked up. So I'll get that. Well, unless you have any other questions, I need to start getting ready, shower up, and get ready to pick up Father Paul for Vespers tonight. Oh, I got to call, make a reservation for dinner. What else do I have to do? Pick up your room, whoa! In there, quantum abyss, whoa! Hey, buddy, whoa! I don't understand. Somebody on Twitter is asking, "Are you out of the wheelchair?" Can you not see the pictures of me walking? By the way, I was only using the wheelchair in services. I wasn't literally in a wheelchair all the other times. It's because the services were so long, and I couldn't be on the crutches on my foot for. It actually hurt the other foot. Um, I got out of that probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I stopped. Then I was on crutches with a walking boot for a week. Then the last 2 weeks I've been walking with a cane, and basically I'm without a cane now. To answer your question, well, I find it funny because you remember when I had the Matt Slick debate, and I told him I was disabled. Don't make. He was like, I'm surprised. You're so dumb. I'm surprised you can even drive. And I'm like, well, it's not funny, man. I said, I'm actually disabled and I can't drive. I was just trolling him. He was like, I'm disabled too. I'm autistic. Anyways, from then on, like, I've been running into people that thought I literally was disabled in a wheelchair, only to find myself recently disabled in a wheelchair. Isn't that funny? People are like, I knew it. I think that's funny. What's crazy is I'm not just a PhD student. I'm actually an adjunct faculty member, like, and I make less than minimum wage. That's what a backwards, weird world. It's literally slave labor, like what colleges and universities pay adjuncts. The amount of work, it's like $3 an hour. I don't know what it works out to. That's why I can't rely on. That's why I build college university courses, because I can't even feed my family and pay rent with. Literally, I wouldn't. If I didn't do work outside of teaching at college, I'd actually be homeless. That's how crazy. That's how much society and universities. Society. Who am I? Who is it? Society values professors. It's all an idea. Oh, they're so great. We pay them slave labor wages, and literally I'd make more money working at McDonald's. That's what's crazy when people are like complaining about. Of course, I love improving people's lives. I love teaching. I don't want to do any, apart from my clerical work, like, I wouldn't want to do any other, like, have that as my main, but it's certainly not my main income because, and so, in terms of society, they probably, professors are so, like, we hate you. Every college hates adjunct professors. I'm convinced of it. Well, I guess we got to have them on. But we hate you. We pay you slave labor. I don't live in America, so I'm not allowed to vote for Trump. I live in a quantum multiverse. We really haven't figured out what voting rights are in the quantum world of Marvel Comics. Well, I can't answer that question. So anyways, I have to, like a lot of people, find ways to make income and feed my family and pay rent. But yeah, I do love teaching. I voted for Orbs.
Or for Quantum Jordan Peterson. Multiverse. Whoa, buddy. Well, I never said that. Depends what you mean by saying, bucko.
I quantum vote. I've voted in every possible multi-Marvel universe for every candidate. And then basically quantum statistics works that out through my quantum phone machine of like determining what in every best possible world, what the best candidate would be. From my perspective, I actually don't know what I'm voting for because it votes for every possible candidate in every possible world. But in terms of quantum statistics, like it's just statistically true that the best candidate my vote will go for the best candidate. How cool is that? All right. One last question before I go. I really got to go. Oh, you now know. We got a Level Coast. You know the science supports the existence of trans people, right? Pack it up, boys. Science says, which it literally like a lot, like there's literally no science of. This is the fallacy of science. Science can't even get to knowledge, by the way. I hate to tell you that. As a philosopher and PhD in the philosophy of science. Number two, you can get a study to say anything. Consensus, well, let's go into any point in time. Things that you don't like, that we can say science now says and consensus. But no, science doesn't say that. There are only actually two, like, those are literally the standard. And even... what do they call that? People born intersectional will literally develop one way, either one way. Literally proving it's literally a made up that science is literally you saying, by the way, are you a science? And because I'm a philosopher of science and it's actually my job to analyze, you can't actually question my expertise. Remember, question the experts? Weren't you pushing the jab and all of this stuff? Do you know that do you support eugenics? The science said the consensus was, look how dumb. I feel bad for you. Like, they literally, and the thing is, the science literally doesn't say that. That's what's funny. That's what it says. There's no amount of information, whether you're a heretic or you're, you have a trans ideology, illness, and believe in this stuff. There's no amount of evidence or argument or science you can show somebody that'll wake them up and go, oh, well, there it is. It's the fallacy of pretending to try. We'll just show them the facts and the science and the arguments. You've already made up your mind, no amount of, this happens in other religions. Well, we'll just go to the scripture and show them. There's nothing so clear and so obvious that a heretic can't reinterpret or is going to force them to accept. And here's a perfect example. Science literally says the opposite. It's a mental illness. It was literally, science is a mental illness. And that did not train, right? Gender dysphoria is a mental illness. Did not change based and the DSM because of science, the data. It was a political, right? And it's hurting you. They're literally, that's why I said, your medical community that you like is giving you poison medicine and telling you your mental illness is reality and affirming soul destroying and mental illness. Like, that's who you put your faith in. And literally the things that are unreal, you accept, and God, who is real, that's providing the medicine that will heal you, you reject. Like, I can't help you. Like, God help you. That's where your problem lies. Everything that will make you better and more fulfilled and healthy, spiritually, mentally, physically, you reject, and you won't take it. And everything that's making you sick, you accept and turned into your God. You're a very religious person, and it's to your own destruction and demise. And it's said, like, you know, you have free will to do that, but it's unfortunate that. So may you be healed. May God bless you. May you be able to see the con and the fraud, the ideologies, and that these things are destroying you and making you sick. Have a nice day, everybody. May God heal us all, as the Therapia conference talked about too. We're all sick. Let us be open to the healing medicine of God's grace and his church and the sacraments. Let's reject the lies of the world. Let's humble ourselves that God may heal us and exalt us and keep us and preserve us. Amen. Until next time, bye-bye.